This is my eyeshadow palette review for March. Welcome to everybody watching today. Thank you so very much for joining me. Today I wanted to come on here to chat to you about 6 new to me eyeshadow palettes that I tested out. I'm going to be inserting all the close-up swatches as well as multiple looks that I've done with every single one of these palettes. Because in case you didn't know, whenever I review an eyeshadow palette, I want to test out every single pan in the palette before I give my thoughts for you. So I had a very successful eyeshadow palette month again, so let me talk you through. In case you're wondering what we're dealing with this month, I had 3 Viseart palettes in. These came to me in the Black Friday sale. Esther reached out to me and said, hey, shall we do a buddy order, because the Viseart official website had a pretty good deal on, but since they're based in the US, it doesn't make a lot of sense with all the shipping and handling fees that get added, so it makes a bit more sense to buy these than together with someone else. Makes it a little bit more cost effective. Some of these were actually more than half off or just over half off, something like that. And then one of them was new, so that one was full price. But I think I paid, like, all in all, including all of the shipping and handling fees, I paid as if I would have paid for 2 of these at full price, so I essentially got one of them for free. Girl math, I know. And then the other 3 palettes I was going to test out this month were all either gifted to me by Monolith or I bought them through Monolith myself. Some of this took a while for it to get to me. That's why I'm only testing it out right now. Because this little guy, the Crystallize from Bella Beauté bar, ended up getting a little stuck towards the end of the year, and it didn't get to Monolith until like midway January. So that was something that I didn't get in. I wasn't able to show you until early February. And by that time, they had already sent me some new PR. So that's where the Cosmic Beauty came from. And then there was the Bella, or Blend, I always mess these two up, but the Blend Bunny Haunt Me was in there too. So in case you didn't know, I am affiliated with Monolith. So if you want to get 5% off of your order, you can use my code, which I'll pop on the screen right now. And it's always in the description box down below. So if you're looking for it, you can. It's been my go-to, like ever since I found them, they have been my go-to stop for any sort of eyeshadow palettes, and these were some really, really pretty palettes, let me tell you, but I'll start with the Viseart ones first. The first palette I want to show you is the Viseart Praline Étendu, that's what it's called, right? And I don't know what's going on with this newer style packaging for Viseart, but it gets very fingerprinty really easily, and it's really difficult to wipe it off, so I'm not a huge fan of that. It's like the minute you touch it, and especially if there's a little bit of powder on your fingers, it just gets really smudgy. Oh well. But I like this palette overall. It is very brown heavy. That's why I bought it. Did I need another neutral palette? No, but that tends to be what Viseart tends to do. And when I first got these in and I swatched them, I wasn't hugely impressed with how some of the shimmers feel. I've been using Viseart eyeshadows for years, and I definitely feel that since we're getting this packaging with the little insert here, that they've also done something to the formula that I wasn't exactly sure I was gonna love. But in usage, I have to say I really did enjoy these. Viseart mattes are some of the best ones to work with, and also the shimmers in here I had no issues with using them with brushes or fingers. It all went really, really well. And the Praline Étendu is exactly what I was hoping it could be, which is just every shade of brown you could ever want. There are some cooler tone things in here, but there's also a little bit of warmth. And that's what I find with a lot of Viseart palettes that you usually get. You usually get a mix of warmer tones, neutral tones, and cooler tones, all within the same palette. These are still magnetic, so if you have a couple of Viseart palettes, you can easily swap them out and build your own custom ones if that's what you want. I never do that to mine. And I have a lot of Viseart eyeshadow palettes because they are one of my favorite eyeshadow formulas. As I just mentioned, these are foolproof, they are easy to work with, they are especially suited for people with more mature lids. These aren't going to be the most impactful of your life shimmers that you're going to find on the market. That's where some of the other palettes are going to come in, but these are absolutely beautiful, and because they are so easy to use, I can't stop recommending them, and I want to try all their shades. So yeah, the Praline Étendu, again, proved to me how good Viseart actually is. The newest palette from Viseart that I now own is the Violette Nocturne, and this is fully called the Violette Nocturne Étendu Visi Pro. I don't know if that means anything different. I'm not that well versed in the brand. And you know I love me some of the purpley tones that Viseart does, so I really wanted to test this out. And I can confirm that this palette gave me what I wanted, the Lilas Lumiere, or what was it called? The Vespertine Étendu. One of the purpley tones that they've done in the past I felt was very mid-tone heavy, and so it all kind of looked the same on me. This gives me a little bit more variety, and especially this shimmer here has some really nice quality to it. I do have to say that when you touch it with fingers, it feels very thin. It is a duochrome that switched from like a purpley vibe, purpley pinky vibe, to like a greeny gold vibe. It's really, really pretty on, but this one definitely needs to be layered, and it's best applied with fingers, I find. It can be a bit difficult to pick up with a brush, but overall these tones are really nice. This isn't going to look purple though. If you still want truly like a purpley look, I think the Violette, like the original Violette palette, is the way to go, but that can be quite vibrant. But this is absolutely beautiful if you want something a little bit more muted. I love how gray leaning some of these tones are. It's like plum, but make it more muted, I find. There is this like really nice brighter shade to brighten things up if you like. I love this taupey shimmer. We all know I love a good taupe. I did a video all about it. We also get a taupe, like grayish taupey leaning matte in here. I just think this is a beautiful palette. I had so much fun playing with it. The only thing I would probably change about this palette is like something here in the top row. I feel these two are far too similar. And we also get this one for brightness. So did I really need like two nearly identical beigey white sort of shades? Not really. And I feel that this sort of shade is just a little bit overdone in makeup. It's a white with a pink flip. It's beautiful, but it's not really something that I feel goes with the more muted vibe of this palette. So those three shades, I would have liked to see something slightly different. Something like just like a basic champagne shimmer for the inner corner I would have enjoyed in this palette to make it well-rounded. But as I already mentioned, I have plenty of Viseart. I can easily pull from one of my other Viseart palettes and create that sort of look if I want to. But this is beautiful. It definitely lived up to my expectations, which with some of the Viseart palettes I've tried in the past, I didn't feel was quite it for me. And then we have one that I already own. I own the original 8-pan of the Paris Étoile. Now it's called the Paris Nuit Étoile, and the one I have does have the Parisian skyline on it. This one doesn't, but it does have a little star and moon. So they've kept some of the packaging, but not everything. The old one is mini baby pans with just 8 shades in, and what they've done essentially, I feel, is that they've kept those original 8 shades and just added a couple of lighter things, which actually for me makes this so much wearable, because the old palette would always give me nothing but a smoky eye. It was a beautiful smoky eye because you get a teal and you get a purple. Like, I feel like these 4 bottom shades were all in the original palette, and then I think these 2 shades were in the original palette, and then like 2 of these like in the top row. But I feel like these 2 are new, and then 2 from the top row. Here again, you can see a lot of the same shades in that top row, which doesn't make a lot of sense to me. I could have done with like 1 or 2 of those, and then I think I would have been good. So again, here I'm like, could have been okay. It's still quite smoky because this doesn't go past a mid-tone really. Even this shimmer, it is a little bit more vibrant, but it's not super bright. So if you like a very bright inner corner like myself, then this may be not for you. But I still love this. I now can get rid of my little 8-pan though, because it's the exact same palette. I'll pop some pictures up on the screen of the old palette as well that I've used in the past, because I just feel it's the same palette. It just has 4 additional shades, and the pans are bigger. So I feel that Viseart is really slowly but surely turning a lot of their older 8 pans, like the things that had the mini pans in, to these like standard 12 pans that they've been doing. And I think that makes sense because it makes it a lot easier to interchange the different palettes, because before I had a couple of those like baby pans, and then a couple of these, and then I have a couple of the Petit Four. So if you want to go and mix and match these, it's a little bit easier to do it this way. But yeah, I really enjoyed all 3 of these. I think they're excellent formula, very consistent with what I think Viseart has been bringing to us in the past couple of years. It suits the brand. It's the same formula I love, even though it's been tweaked a little bit, I feel, especially in the shimmers. I feel they are a little bit, I wouldn't call them drier, but thinner. So they just have a little less kick up for that reason. So I feel they still give the same effect on the eyes. And I always feel like $1,000,000 whenever I wear a Viseart palette. They are just easy, foolproof, as I already mentioned when I was reviewing the Praline. These are beautiful palettes, and I was able to pull some stunning looks out of it. I did 2 looks with each of these palettes, so there were like, I just cut each palette in half, really. I just did the 6 shades to the left in a look, and 6 shades to the right in a look. And that's another thing that I've always loved so much about Viseart, is that that's something you can do. You can do 2 6 pans, like this one with the Paris Étoile, or you can do like 4 pans, or you can just use it as a trio. Like, there are so many options with these, and just every single shade always goes together. And that's one of the reasons why I love Viseart so much. So yes, this has confirmed for me that my love for Viseart is still very, very strong. I didn't need convincing though, I already knew that, but. And then we move on to the 3 palettes that I got through Monolith. As I mentioned, some of these were gifted, but others I did pay for with my own money. And I have to say that I loved all 3 of these. You will have seen me film some videos wearing looks that I've done with these palettes as well. I think only one of them I wore to work exclusively. I'm not entirely sure, but these are so stunning. They are big palettes though, so it took me quite some looks to be able to get everything done. Let's start with the star of the show here. I think my favorite thing I've tried all month is the Crystallize from Bella Beauté bar. So I really don't mind that I had to wait for this to come, because this is exactly what I wanted it to be. It's the perfect sort of spring pastel, but not too bright pastel color story I've ever wanted in my life. And then the neutrals we get in here all pull quite cool toned, which I'm here for it. So it's cool but colorful, I would say. It's got so many stunning shades in. So many stunning shades in. There is one shade that I feel is a bit of a miss, because it's this one, and it has a peachy flash that doesn't really go with the vibe of any of the other shades I feel that are in the palette. I was able to make it work. I don't remember exactly, because I did go a little bit rogue with the way I like used the shades on my eyes. I remember doing 4 looks, and I think I sort of split the palette into like a section like roughly like this, and then something else was going on here, and then I think I did do the purples together. I don't remember exactly what I did, because it's been a few weeks. But I loved every single look I created with this. The shimmers in here are amazing. My favorite shade in the palette is this one right here. I also really like this sort of blurply kind of shade. It was a lot more blue than I had expected once I put it on my lids, but it was absolutely stunning. This entire quad here has my life. Love this seafoam sagey green, and I just love that this just has the right amount of color that packs a bit of a punch, but at the same time, it has this very muted, almost gray-leaning undertone to it that really comes out on my more cool-toned skin. So I was loving this. This is so fair skin friendly. There is one shade that is really, really deep. It's this holographic shimmer here. Also stunning. So I just feel this palette can go into so many different ways. You can go super smoky with it. You can go super colorful with it. You can stay neutral with it. You can have it very muted and toned down. You can have some brighter pops of color. And I love that the darkest shade we get is like a navy blue and another black. There is just not a bad word that I can say about this palette. It's just no notes, really. Like that one shade, I'm like, it would have been nice if that would have been cool toned as well. But it did work, you know? The look came together. And I'm like, that's really something that I find a lot of brands, as we'll talk about in a second, don't really get right. Like, they'll put shades in the palette that look really pretty together, but then very often when I use it on my more cool-toned skin, because my undertone can bring out different undertones in the shades, it doesn't always come together the way it looks in the pan. But with this, I didn't have that issue at all, and I absolutely adored this palette. The Blend Bunny haunt me. I know a lot of people want to know my thoughts. I know that I have been like pretty negative about some Blend Bunny palettes, not for the formula. I love, love, love the Blend Bunny formula. It's one of my favorites. It's excellent, excellent eyeshadow. What I never liked about a lot of the other palettes I've tried is the color story. And here again, I've got a couple of like things I would likely have done differently, but I do feel that this is one of the more successful Blend Bunny palettes I've tried. I did 3 different looks with this. I kind of stuck to this half here. No, that's not true. I did these ones together, I did these 2 together, and I did these 2 together. And that I feel has been the hack for me, because one of the things I find is because Blend Bunny gives you these quads that perfectly go together, but very often each quad only has one shimmer. And I prefer a shimmer over a matte, so I didn't really need a lot of the mattes that are in here. I was afraid that some of these things would look very sort of samey, because especially in these deeper tones, it all looks to be quite similar. But I felt it went. It really did come together, and I did enjoy using all of these shades. As I mentioned, this is so far one of the most successful Blend Bunny palettes that I've been playing with. And I think it has to do because I was just like combining more shades together that I felt it looked a little bit better. The only shade I would swap out in this entire palette would be this. This is yellow. It's a soft yellow, but still. In a sea of cool tones, this is just a little bit weird. So if this had a hint of green in, I think it would have worked a lot better. It's one of the things I appreciated about one of the last palettes I'll be talking about. So that's like the only thing where I'm like, didn't really need that, but everything else was really pretty. I was afraid that this would pull coral on me. It didn't. It had more of like a pinky tone quality to it. I ended up using it in a way though that it almost disappeared, so I decided to like do a little dot of it in like my inner corner just to have the shade be visible in the look I ended up doing. But it wasn't as offensive as I had expected, and a lot of the other shades, for instance this, pulled more purple on me, which I had not expected. So in the end, the reds that I was a little bit afraid of when using this palette ended up looking really, really beautiful. The only thing that I didn't like about some of these shades here at the bottom is that both of these are quite dark. Like the shimmers are quite deep. So for my fair skin, that didn't really work very well. I was able to pull the look together. It worked really well in the end. For me, this quad here in the top, like this one, I could put that on my eyes every single day and just be done. I would do that. Like this sort of like, it's gray but has a bit of a green undertone. It's so pretty, and that also makes that silver tone that it has not boring. I have mentioned in the past how I think a lot of silvers are a little bit boring looking because they can be quite flat. But this one didn't. It had really nice dimension, a little bit of a sparkle to it. The shimmers are in here are all amazing. And overall, I really did think that this Blend Bunny palette really served me well. This is now my favorite Blend Bunny palette for sure. Save for that one sort of yellow tone gold that it has, I really don't have too many notes, which is rare for me. With Blend Bunny, I'm usually like, oh, but I would have wanted more of this, or I would have wanted more of that. I didn't have that issue, and the blendability of this. I was doing these looks very often as I was getting ready to head out the door to work, and I don't have that much time in my morning routine to be sitting there and do my makeup, which is one of the reasons why I love the Viseart stuff so much. But this came together so flawlessly. Within seconds, it just went on, it blended itself. It really, really does the name of the brand justice, and I think that this is great. And even though it has this like spooky theme to it, if you ignore the reds, it's such a beautiful neutral palette that just gives you a bit of brown, a bit of like traditional smoky eye grays and blacks and whites, and then this like greeny colored grays. We have some blue tone grays, and then this I feel is a little bit more like brown tone grays. So it just goes together so well. Everything has a cool undertone. Even the browns in here aren't too warm tone. They're very neutral. So this was so successful for me. I really, really enjoyed the way this looked on my skin. Finally, the eyeshadow that is on my lids today is from the Cosmic Beauty Death Tarot palette. And this palette, the minute it was released, it went onto the wish list because I was like, yup, that looks like it might be something that I might like. And then Monolith offered it to me in PR, and I was like, okay, great. So here is what that palette looks like. I think it's absolutely stunning. I did a look today with these shades here at the bottom, so the reds and the purples with a bit of the black as liner. I did a look with these 5 shades the other day when I was filming my lipstick video for you guys. So on Saturday, you saw me wear this like almost green warm toned eye. It was these ones. This has the green flip. You wouldn't, like, you barely notice it in the pen, but in usage, it has this really beautiful green flip. And then I just did a look with these like more cool tones at the top, again with a bit of blue in there. It's got some vibrancy. This shade is like my favorite one in the entire palette. It's so pretty. And then this one as well. This is like the purple version, and then this is the pinky version. I really love it. It's got a holographic shimmer in there as well that is on my eyes today. Because I wanted to do that one justice, I did top it over the red shimmer. This red shimmer is not my favorite red shimmer. I like the red shimmer in the Blend Bunny a million times better. And the reason why, I'm not sure if you can see, but the matte is pink. This is orange, so they don't go together. So the matte is actually in my crease today, and then I used the red shimmer all over my lid to top over it. This also didn't pick up with a brush. It's the only one in the entire palette that I could not pick up with a brush, that I had to use fingers for, and I get a little bit messy, especially with a shade this intense when it comes to fingers, so I really want them to have the usability of a brush because it just makes it so much easier to use. So that's the only downside to this palette, but again, I loved every single look I've done with this. It's absolutely stunning. It is in line with the Cosmic Beauty quality that I've tried in the past, so it gets a tick, it ticks all the boxes there. It's got some beautiful, more unique shades from the brand in here as well. I think this is a lovely eyeshadow palette. I really, really do. Something like this, I'm just wearing it in my day-to-day life, and I'm liking it. I was like, I'll make the eyes the main feature of my look today, and it works perfectly for that. But I love that you're getting these more muted things in here as well that can make it a lot more wearable and a lot more like I don't think everybody will go out with like pinky red eyeshadow every single day. You know what I mean? If that's you and you do this on the daily, then no shade to you. I love that. But not everybody can wear those kind of looks. So I feel that this palette gives you the options to do something a little bit more creative or different than what you're used to. But it also gives you a lot of shades that you can just whack on and it will just be a pretty makeup look. So I love that versatility about this one. And I also enjoy that because Cosmic Beauty isn't like the most expensive indie brand. As much as I like Bella Beauté Bar and Blend Bunny, their palettes are getting a little bit more expensive. Cosmic Beauty is still one of the brands that doesn't have the most expensive eyeshadow palettes. I'm not exactly sure what this goes for currently because their price point has been going up ever since they first launched. But that's also because they are now doing those holographic and like shifty things and stuff. Those are just more expensive products. But with some indie brands, we've discussed this on the channel in the past, I do feel it's sort of out of proportion. I don't say that's the case with Bella Beauté Bar or Blend Bunny. I would happily pay that money again if need be. I've bought palettes from those brands just like Cosmic Beauty with my own money plenty of times. And I enjoy them, which is why when they offer it to me in PR, I was like, yes, this is great. So something great to test out, and I'm really enjoying this. Like I said, this was a very, very successful makeup month for me, and I've really, really enjoyed everything that I've played with. So thanks so much for watching me here today. Let me know in a comment down below what your favorite eyeshadow palette is that you've maybe tried this month, or maybe if you don't buy that much makeup, what you've played with this month. I would love to know. So thanks so much for watching me here. Thumbs it up if you liked it. Subscribe if you want to see more by me. I post 4 times a week on this channel, but I also post on my other channel, which is Floating in Books, which is more like behind the scenes, like lifestyle-y things about books and whatever it is that really floats my boat. Anything that doesn't go with makeup tends to go onto that channel. And then I do have other social media as well. All those links are in the description box down below. So to see you again really, really soon in a new one. Bye-bye.